meal. Hall of Fame wrestler, created with the feel. Son of a boxer, comic book artist. Sweet science cinema, know what my favorite part is? The whole thing. From the great white hype to Rocky and Creed, the Raging Bull. Oh no, I shouldn't spoil it. Come check out this episode and you'll find yourself enjoying it. Sweet science cinema. Sweet science cinema.
Ding, ding. By the way, I got no soul when the lights went down in the theater. I was so mad. I was like, this was the fucking crowd that should have killed. And there's the bell. Sweet Science Cinema, number 6. This is the season finale. We're in the holidays, guys. It's Thanksgiving. I hope you are all having a fantastic holiday, or day before holiday, or day after holiday, whenever you're listening to this. With me, as always, the Pro Wrestling Hall of Famer himself, the Hoff, Jaimel Hemphill. What's good, my man?
What's up, my man? And we might as well get it over with. You're now my fellow Hoff.
So, well, not yet, but that's coming. That is
Yeah.
coming. We just spoke about this on a previous microdose about a week or two ago, and I'm also going to be inducted into the Northern California Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Well, Fog City Wrestling is. No one gives a shit about Steve Armani, and maybe they should. But Fog City Wrestling is being inducted, and I'm going to definitely be there with Caesar Black accepting the award, and I'm looking forward to it. But we're not here to talk about that today, dude. It's the season finale of Sweet Science Cinema. Everyone's already read the title, but let's talk a little bit about how we got here, dude. Like, we just got off the hurricane, and we're like,
Yes.
we should do something fun. We should go out with a big bang, like we were talking, like you should, like I really like the James Woods, Louis Gossett Jr. movie Digstown. Might be my favorite boxing movie, to be honest. You were talking, like, maybe we should do some Southpaw or some Raging Bull.
Yeah.
And then one day I'm fucking around on Facebook in the morning, and sure enough, Fathom Events, Rocky IV, Ultimate Director's Cut. And I was like, what is happening here? Called you up, Jaimel. I was like, dude, we got to go see this. This is going to be our episode. And you're like, all right, Kush, we're doing it. So Rocky IV, the Ultimate Director's Cut. It's got a couple different titles. It's Rocky IV Ultimate Director's Cut. It's also Rocky IV, Rocky vs. Drago.
Yes. One thing about this, though, is I will say that it changes the beginning and it changes the end. So it does feel like a different movie. I haven't seen a director's cut change my feeling about a movie so much since Daredevil.
Very interesting.
The Ben Affleck Daredevil, the director's cut, is a much better movie than what you saw in the theaters. And
I keep hearing that.
I won't say that this is better than Rocky IV because, one, it's got to fight against my nostalgia, but it's definitely a different movie. It's definitely a different movie. I mean, right from the jump, I mean, I want to say it's about 5 or 6 minutes of different footage right at the beginning.
Yeah, man. Just to throw it out there, we can't help but compare this to the original Rocky IV from 1985, so we'll definitely be talking about that. But if you have not seen Rocky IV Ultimate Director's Cut, it's available on Prime. It's available on all of the streaming platforms. You can rent it for $4. You can buy it for $15. If you wait probably one more day after this episode drops, Black Friday, it'll probably be $5, guys. Yeah. So if you don't want to hear spoilers about what's changed in Rocky IV, turn this off now. Having said that, this we haven't seen. You haven't seen anything like this before, but I think you have. Like, so this is the same cast, this is the same story, but it is a completely different movie, and we've seen that with Superman 2, the Richard Donner cut. We just saw that recently with the Zack Snyder Justice League. And I don't know if you could compare.
Full disclosure, I didn't watch Zack Snyder's Justice League, but
to be fair, it's 2 extra hours longer. But
Counterpoint on Richard Donner is that the Donner cut, technically we got, so because Lester made Superman 2, what most people don't know is the ending to Superman 1 with him reversing time was actually supposed to be the ending to Superman 2. So we kind of we weren't. Yes, we got the Donner cut, but that means we never got the true Donner cut of Superman 1. So it's kind of weird to me with the Donner cut, because it's like he almost should have remade both movies so we saw what he wanted for both movies, as opposed to just doing Superman 2. Because you've just taken the ending that we already got. Now I want to see what was your transition going to be. So like this, I guess what I'm saying is with Donner cut, which you're totally right, but we didn't get the director's full vision, in my opinion.
True.
Here, I guess we're getting what Stallone really wanted. So whether that's good or bad, we're getting what Stallone really wanted. So and it's a completely different movie. To me, it's a lot less popcorny. There's a lot more pathos in this movie, a lot more emotions.
The argument of why do we need to remake something always comes up, and there's actually a lot of really good remakes. And what I'm going to use as an example is like the 1970s, The Body Snatchers. That's a great remake. The 1980s, The Fly. That's a great remake.
Of course.
Okay, but this is like this and the Donner cut, and even the Zack Snyder Justice League. Like this is the remake. Okay, like we were able to combine the footage that we had already captured. All right, there's no reshoots for this one, for Rocky 4, but we were able to still complete a completely different narrative and still get to the same ending or the same goal and still tell a fascinating story. Let's just get this part out of the way. Jaimel, did you like this or not?
It was good.
Okay.
It was good. So here's the thing. I liked the first half.
Okay.
Like the biggest change to me was restoring a lot of Rocky and Apollo footage.
And Clubber Lang.
Yeah, and Clubber too. Anytime you get more Mr. C, you're good. But they really focused on building up Rocky and Apollo's, because like for me, the whole Rocky and Apollo arc, as a kid, I loved it. As an adult, it always bugged me.
Oh,
because like,
please break it down.
Because I didn't believe their friendship. As an adult, like once I hit about 14, 15, I accepted the movies for what they were, but the burgeoning writer in me didn't necessarily believe their friendship. I'm like, so what? Is it mutual respect? But like, I didn't believe. If you watch the movies as a story, I didn't believe they had come such good friends that Rocky was going to watch him get killed and felt like he needed to avenge his death. Like I just didn't believe that you become that close. Like and this movie, however, the footage, like you could see that maybe Stallone thought that too and filmed enough to really show you how close they had become. And there's a lot more footage of them interacting and them talking. And sure, it's Apollo feels he needs to explain to Rocky why he wants to fight Drago, right? It's still.
So here's where we start going into the comparisons. So in the original the original theatrical cut, the 85 cut, he's all about like, yo man, I feel old. I don't feel like myself anymore. I don't feel like a man. I need to do this. I need to challenge myself. Like I got one more in me, Rock. I can do this. And I need you in my corner. But this one, he's like, fuck this Russian asshole, dude. Like, I'm all about the stars and bars here, baby.
Stripes.
But that's still a facade. Like he's using it as a scapegoat, as an excuse, and that part is weird to me. Because I like him just be like, I was like, yo, man, I need to feel alive again. This is just gonna be an exhibition. No, who cares if I win? I'm gonna win anyways, but who cares really? Like, it's
Yeah, I mean, obviously we could talk about Rocky and Adrian and everything. And then I think there was some more stuff with Drago a little bit, but I want to skip forward a little bit. Just a little bit. But I want to skip forward to just keep for right now talking Apollo and Rocky.
Jump around, please.
There's a little bit more when after Apollo dies, and during the fight, like the towel dropping, like
yes,
the way the story comes off to me is more you would even buy that Rocky fights Drago out of guilt. Because he's saying, like, there was one line, like, don't do this to me, right? Like Apollo's telling him not to drop the towel, don't throw it in. but now Rocky's begging Creed to stop the fight. Creed says no. And then basically it's like, it's almost making it Rocky's decision not to throw the towel. Like it's him not throwing the towel. You know what I mean? It's almost like, because he kind of throws it. I don't know if it's meant to do this, but it's almost like he almost drops the towel in just as Creed's falling.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's almost like like he like he's gonna throw it, and then he's too late. So I'm wondering if like maybe this is a little bit, but maybe I'm reading too much into it. But it's almost like Rocky. It's more filmed like Rocky could have saved him, and he chose not to. You know, chose not to throw the towel in, and so maybe there's a little more guilt pushing the fight Creed, fight Drago even more so. So I thought that was interesting because it's filmed differently. The sequence is different, and it feels to me almost like you're saying like Rocky could have thrown the towel in and chose not to.
Well, I always thought he could have thrown the towel in the original cut as well, but he's literally just like Apollo's like, look, if you're gonna be my best friend, you have to. I don't care what you do after this, you cannot throw in that towel. And he's just like, my Italian pride won't let me throw in the towel here. Like, God damn it, I'm bound by this word, you know. Like, I have to let my friend die. There's so much going on in this. So let's get the comedy out of the way. No robot, no big deal. Stallone was all. So I went to the theatrical showing. You couldn't make it. You would have loved it. Right. I bumped into a fellow Hall of Famer, Chicano Flame. Actually,
oh, right on.
Yeah, man, it was wild. We hang out. We had a couple drinks at the bar beforehand, and then we went to the Rocky IV. So no robot. No That's robot. A good thing. Yeah. No robot. Stallone was at a party once upon a time, saw this freaking robot just handing out hors d'oeuvres, and was like, "Hey, that would be a cool thing." And it was a thing of the times. It was definitely an '80s thing. Yeah. It was. Rocky IV came out when MTV, while only being 5 years old, was at the height of its power. Okay, people were just like, "Oh wow, you can actually like tell a story with music in 3 minutes. Let's just flood Rocky IV with this." They would do the same thing in Stallone's Cobra. Actually, no one knows that for whatever reason, but that's been a thing. So we got less robot. We got less montages. There's still montages, I'm happy to report, but we got less of them. And we got less Burt Young, which I think is also good. I've never liked Paulie. And I know you're not supposed to like him, but at the same time, it's just like, no, hey, like, after Rocky 2, he can just be that dude sitting in the corner. He never needs to be at ringside. He never needs to be a part of the inside team. Like, hey, Rock, can I make some t-shirts? Sure. All right. But you do that off screen. Leave me alone. Were you happy with less Burt Young? Less
like,
Paulie?
No, I'm just thinking about it. Like, I don't watch the Rocky movies, Paulie. I just don't care enough to have an opinion on whether there's more or less Paulie. And like,
okay, that's fair.
I honestly hadn't really considered it till you just said it. Like, like I was more thinking about, I was looking at the characters. Like, I care about Apollo, I care about Drago, I care about Rocky. That's who I'm coming to see. And so I was really, all my notes are about, did we get more Drago? Did we get more Apollo? Like, I hadn't even thought about Paulie. If he had been excised from the movie. You know what I mean? If he had been excised from the movie completely, I probably would have said something. But
I don't think we would have noticed it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So there's a scene when we finally get to the Rocky Drago fight. Stallone eats a bunch of punches, and he's like, "Yo, I'm seeing 3 of them." And Paulie goes, "Hit the one in the middle." In the original cut, Duke goes, "Yeah, hit the one in the middle." But in this one, he's actually like, "No, listen, look, stick to the plan. Go to the body. Do this." Like he's still giving them like actual second advice, and that's a huge distinction for me. Also, we got less Bridget Nielsen. I thought that was an interesting choice.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So they weren't even. So once upon a time, they would get married. It would actually be after Rocky IV, in between Cobra, but then they would get divorced and it would be super ugly and whatever. And I guess they're not friends anymore. And probably the flavor of love didn't help anything. But Stallone did everything he could to cut Brigitte Nielsen's parts out to the point where the Russian prime minister or whoever Drago's trainer is comes down to the ring and he's cussing out Drago, and Drago just like picks him up by the neck. In the original cut, she actually gets a full-on face frame of like, yet no, put him down, and then he drops him. But that shit gets, it's still said, but it's only off screen now. Like they cut all of Brigitte Nielsen out as much as they could have.
Yeah, it's basically F her, you know, and like also like, you know, it's like maybe she's also poly. It's like, well, we want to get more of the people I still love in here, so I'm gonna take out the people that aren't as popular. So
that's fair. I think that's fair.
You know, and you had to make room for the boxing commissioners scene, which I didn't understand. Like sometimes I believe in the show not tell. You know, they use dialogue to say, "Hey, he surrendered the championship to fight Drago." Like that's in the dialogue in the 1985 time. Here, there's a big old scene where like you have to follow our rules and you can't fight Drago, and it's like this is dumb. You know, especially you know, boxing's so crooked that you would have to explain why. Like the reasoning of the fight taking place in Russia made sense because Drago was calling the shots because Rocky wanted to fight Drago. Like that makes sense. And then if you say the dialogue like, yo, we didn't want this fight's unsanctioned and he surrendered the championship to fight him, cool. But to say that the boxing commission doesn't want the money that a fight against a murderer versus a champion, like, you know what I mean? Like for them to say, no, we don't want to make that $3 million 1985 money, you know, of a pay-per-view off this fight. Like that's silly. It's absurd that the boxing commission wouldn't want a guy who actually killed a guy in the ring. Like, if it bleeds, it leads. You know, they would be so happy to get a murderer in the ring with the champion. Like, you know, like it's grotesque, but I'm just being real here. You know.
So this information in the original 85 cut was communicated through a montage transition, not a rock start, but it was like just lots of news headlines. And sure enough, we get the little black and white photo, but it's like, sure enough, Rocky's stripped of the title. The boxing commission says they will not sanction this. And then he still goes to Russia anyways. Apparently no one paid attention to that. And that's why Stallone decided to include that actual scene. Like obviously it was already recorded. It was already captured. But for whatever reason, people were always confused about like, well, who's the title holder on Christmas Day? Like, no title involved in this. Rocky gave up all sorts of nonsense to have this fight happen. The Fathom events promised us more Drago and more Drago dialogue, and I suppose we got that. But in the end, personally, I thought it was bullshit.
If someone says two words and then they say three, you still get a 50% increase. So that's pretty much what we got.
We got
if he dies, he dies. No, really.
Oh, yes. You need that scene. You need that scene. But like during the press conference, there's an entire part where Drago says verbatim what Brigitte Nielsen says in the 85 cut, and I was like, that's fascinating. Like it's amazing how much footage of this movie was captured 35 years ago. Yeah. And then what they absolutely went with anyways. This was the shortest Rocky movie. It is still the shortest Rocky movie. Despite the fact that depending on what Facebook post you read, we either got 40 minutes of new footage or we got 10 minutes of new footage. Either way, this movie is only 1 minute longer than its original theatrical cut. So it's there's a lot of interesting debatable things here. I think when this movie came out, the critics that were in their 40s, that are our age now, they all were poo-pooing Rocky IV. Like, this is the worst one. It's the biggest cartoon. What's the deal with all these montages? However, we all saw this on VHS. We would all see this on whatever TNT marathon Thanksgiving weekend, you know. And so it becomes part of your psyche. It becomes part of your nostalgia. It's like you love, this is the most popular Rocky still. Despite being the shortest, it's still the most popular. It's still the most
which is absurd to me. It's literally the worst boxing match out of all the Rocky movies. Like, it's so absurd. Like, this is where Rocky just stopped being about boxing, because this boxing was, oh my god, it didn't even try a verisimilitude. It's just like it totally is a cartoon fight. It's totally like a cartoon fight. You know, it's so bad.
But that made it so good. Like, it's I love the original Rocky 4. It's I think it's probably my favorite one, maybe next to Creed. You know, it's
it's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. It's like so many moments. You know, it's still got the soundtrack. I mean, everybody loves Hearts on Fire, which, by the way, is missing from the end credits. Instead, using Eye of the Tiger. I'm just kind of like, okay, I don't get it. I don't get why the change was there, but okay, you know.
I have to think that was a rights issue, like, or a budgetary thing. Stallone said that MGM paid a lot of money for this recut, but you know, there again, we have the second half of the movie. It's like 7 montages. I don't think I'm exaggerating there, and we got maybe 3 on this one. So they had to cut stuff out. Going back to Polly, it's It's right before Christmas. He's hanging out by the fire, and he's listening to Alvin and the Chipmunks, whatever Christmas song that is. Missing from the entire theatrical. He's just hanging out there, just rocking on his Walkman, and you know, he doesn't need to do any more than that. But I was just like, ooh, do they really need to save $500 that much on this? Like,
it's weird. It's weird.
I don't think we're done with this yet. But if Stallone says that he was working on a movie and then the COVID happened and everything shut down, and so he just went like, well, I'll just go back and recut one of my movies and I'll do Rocky 4. Should he have done Rocky 4, or maybe should he have done Rocky 5, despite the fact that he didn't direct that? That was the same director of Rocky 1.
If you're gonna try to resurrect the movie, if there's one movie that needs to be fixed, it's Rocky 5. like I don't know what you could do to fix Rocky 5, because it's a ludicrous idea.
Rocky 5 is definitely it's out there, it's bizarre, it definitely doesn't make a lot of sense, but because it doesn't have a good antagonist. But it's also the worst, critically the worst rated Rocky. But because we would eventually get a Rocky Balboa, and then we would get a Creed 1 and 2. Like, Rocky 5 is as essential as any of the other chapters in this film. But I think they could have remade that and made it much better.
Yes.
Do we want to get into that at all? Like, maybe we don't. I don't know.
No, I just don't have. I haven't watched Rocky 5 in a very, very long time. The only reason I would even ever own Rocky 5 is if it came in a set. You know, and so I mean, I don't want to belittle the effort of somebody. So because I don't have any positive things to say, but I'm sure I could find them if I watched the movie. But yeah, I just didn't enjoy it the first time. So.
Well, I mean, Rocky 5 is all about like his fall from grace, you know, and no one at the time wants to see Rocky be a bum again. No one wants to see him donning the leather coat, wandering around the depressing streets of Philadelphia in the snow and being harassed by just local jabronis. Okay, you want to see Rocky on type and training for the big fight, but sure enough, he gets into a street fight with Tommy Morrison, and that's just weird in its own right. Anyway, the fight, the actual Ivan. Do we want to talk about Apollo's fight or Rocky's fight first?
I mean, Apollo's fight, for me, I may be nitpicking. I'm looking at my notes here.
Nitpick.
I didn't see much difference in the fight, other than the stuff I talked about with the argument over whether or not to throw the towel in. With the Rocky fight, Rocky versus Drago fight, the inner monologue threw me off.
The monologue was interesting.
Yeah, that was really.
It's different. It's different from all the Rockies.
Yeah.
There's never been a monologue where like, oh
Yeah,
you
no.
gotta get up.
Yeah.
We maybe we get a flashback where like Mickey's like, get up, you son of a bitch, or something
Yeah.
around those lines.
Yeah. Yeah. So like that's the only thing that threw me off. Like to me, the fight seems, if memory serves, I did not watch the original cut and then this back to back, which is probably what I should have done. But the fight with Drago seemed to hit most of the same beats.
No, it's they added some different scenes to it where it's just like, oh wow, okay. I want to say it's after the second bell, where they end up just wrestling on the fucking mat of the ring. Like that's a little more intense.
Oh yeah. I didn't notice that. I just like the monologue threw me off. Like I think that was like the first round where he gets. I think I was still tripping off the monologue because the monologue was like the first round, I think. And I was like, oh, that was different. Like I've never seen that.
I want to say Drago gets cut earlier in this edition than he does in the 85 one too. Like I honestly, I could be dead wrong here. I did watch them both back to back, but I felt like Drago got cut in like the fourth round, as opposed to just the second round. We're like, see, he bleeds. He's not a machine. Yeah. He's a man. Like still a great buildup.
I did like the 15th round, like at the end of the fight, where he's like, we can't fight. We have to stop the fight. He's too hurt to continue. And then Duke's like, he's hurt too. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that was some cool stuff. And of course they did. They used an alternate tape for the ending speech, and I think that sums up. Like, I wrote down the line where he says, instead of I can change and you can change and everybody can change, because my best friend says people don't change. He died. And then he goes, everybody can change. Everybody applauds. And I'm like, he really made this movie a lot more about Apollo. And that's what I took from it. Like he really focused on the relationship between Rocky and Apollo. And that's what I took from it. Like he really did a lot making the song. And maybe that's why he's doing Eye of the Tiger at the end, because that was one of the lines I noticed change where I think it was Apollo said to Rocky, or maybe he said he needed to get the Eye of the Tiger back or something like that. So
no, Apollo's like you need the Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah, you need to get the Eye of the Tiger. So maybe that's why he's using that music at the end, because it's once again referring to Apollo. So
makes sense.
I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
What is crazy is, so in the 85 cut, he makes a speech, and then even not Gorbachev, but the guy who's only introduced as the general secretary and not the president, not Gorbachev, even he's just like, this is the greatest speech I've ever heard. And he does that slow stand and applaud, and of course his lackey's all up. In this one, he's like, fuck this motherfucker, and his mother, and he gets up and he walks right out of the building.
Yeah.
I thought that was fascinating. I was like, wow, what is happening here? Overall, I definitely like this movie. I still am a huge fan of the original Rocky 4. Yeah. Now, something's weird. I was looking at Box Office Mojo, because I still like to try and do as much of this as I normally do, my normal traditional habits. But there's apparently a 2020 Rocky 4 cut that I'm not aware of. That 2020 was only 11 months ago, man. So I don't know what this is, or if it's being mistaken for this Ultimate Director's Cut that we just witnessed. But let's see. So the original Rocky 4 came out in 1985. The top 5 movies of that year, going 5 up, was The Color Purple, Rocky 4, which would make a worldwide thing of 128 million, Rambo 2.
Oh, this was Stallone's year.
Yeah, man. Back to the Future Part 1, and then Out of Africa, which was a Robert Redford, Meryl Streep vehicle.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. Fantastic score. Yeah. However, it also made like 85% of its income from the international box office. It beat Back to the Future by like $3 million, but all of its money came internationally. Fascinating story.
Back to the Future, man. Yeah, could there be a more perfect movie?
I love Back to the Future. But I love antagonizing people more by saying, sure, let them remake Back to the Future.
Oh gosh.
Just bring it on.
You know what's sad is that if Back to the Future would literally go back to me as a teenager right now. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's terrifying. You know?
Okay. Yeah, 30 years ago. Dig it.
Yeah, yeah. So you're going back to me like I'm now the Elder McFly. And so I don't think I'm ready for that, man. I still want to live vicariously through Marty, not his dad, you know. So
I have some great news for you. You still can. You still can.
That movie's timeless. Yeah, I watched it with my daughter, and even with the anachronisms, you know, the fact that Back to the Future 2 took place 5 years ago now, she still loved the trilogy. She loved it, loved it. You cannot go wrong with Back to the Future. Although we also watched Karate Kid, and I forgot how much cursing there was in the movies we watched as kids. I totally forgot. Like I was like, I mean, I know, of course, I never used curse words until I was a teenager. So, but I was like, wow, I was watching this at 8, and nobody said anything. Whereas we really tried to keep our kids from listening to a lot of harsh language. But
I haven't watched the original Karate Kid in a while now, even with the Cobra Kai episodes we've done here. But
yeah,
is it just like shit is the worst thing he says? Like,
yeah, pretty much.
All right.
Yeah. But it's like, wow, they really cursed a lot. Like, wow, like it's noticeable now. It's noticeable because if you look at a PG or PG-13 movie, there's probably not a lot of cursing. Not a lot of cursing in Marvel movies, but
there's definitely a huge divide on what is acceptable. I would say I actually say Black Widow used the word shit more than any of the other Marvel movies that exist.
Yeah, it was anyway.
Anyway,
yeah, can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with 80s movies.
No, we were just talking about the PG rating and what was acceptable and blah 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 blah. The Rocky IV Ultimate Director's Cut has been rated PG-13, whereas its original predecessor, which isn't really more or less violent, more or less offensive, was a solid PG. That's how
was there
were.
PG-13 back then?
Yes, Indiana Jones and Gremlins literally just happened that year. I think maybe even 1984. So it's PG-13 was still just like, well, what is that? We don't know what that is. Rocky's a PG. It's always a PG.
Amazing what they would let us watch at that age.
I remember watching Gene Wilder and Kelly LeBrock in The Woman in Red, and then seeing Kelly LeBrock, same chick from Weird Science, for that aren't ringing a buzz, just full frontal, just bush. It was like, wow! Like I'm maybe 7 years old. I'm like, what? What is going on here? Well, that was a PG.
Yeah.
And that was about a man who intentionally decided, like, I gotta cheat on my wife. This is driving me crazy. I'm Gene Wilder, and Kelly LeBrock is throwing it at me. I gotta do this right now. Like, oh my god! Like, and in 2021, I get it, but not a good message. Definitely not a good message to the kids. Rocky IV Ultimate Director's Cut. What else do we gotta say about this?
It's worth a watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely worth a watch. It's not a cash grab. This is
definitely a labor of love. This was definitely a labor of love.
This is not a cash grab. It's not just thrown out there. There was thought put into it, and it's definitely a different story. If you're a Rocky fan, watch it.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed this. I still love the original Rocky IV. But yeah, this would be a fun movie to go back and forth with, like all the time. Just like, what did they change? What's different? Or okay, still no robot. Oh, less Burt Young. That's great. But blah 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 blah. I still think Rocky V would have been the better movie to remake, but that wasn't Stallone's movie to remake, I guess. But at the same time, like at this point, who would care? Make us a better movie.
The original director would be the only one who cared.
I'm not even sure if he's still alive, to be honest. But you can still take his footage and go like, well, this is this edit. Like, there's always a different cut. I don't know. Anyways, this was a fantastic experience. I'm glad we could do this. I'm glad we could do this right before Thanksgiving. Like, I know you're not favorable about U.S. American history books, but tomorrow's Thanksgiving. What are you thankful for in the traditional of the definition?
You know what? I still am thankful for my family. I'm thankful. Hopefully, by the time you're hearing this, completed my move, and you and I have watched a pretty cool boxing match together after completing my move. And I'm thankful to be alive, and thankful, that for the most part, people have made it through COVID. And if you've lost somebody, I'm super sorry. My condolences out to you. I've lost family members during this pandemic, but we're all here. We're listening to this together, and go see a movie and enjoy yourself.
There you go. As for myself, guys, I'm thankful for Sweet Science Cinema existing. I'm thankful for the BosNet family. I'm thankful for my sister, little sister Hayes, who I've literally only known 5 years now. All right, just let that sink in, guys. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for my mom being here another Thanksgiving. I'm thankful that I get to do what I love. Thankful for Jaimel Hemphill. I'm thankful for Len Kabazinski. Thankful for Robin Seto. I'm thankful for Kai Nagai. And I'm thankful for all of you listening to this who've been supporting us, and that's about as much as I can say. I'm sure I'm missing something, but I've got a lot to be thankful for this year. And I hope you join us in the next year, everybody. So, Jaimel, you got anything else that you want to say, man, on anything?
Oh, man. No, that's it, man. I'm just happy that we've seen another holiday season. It came around way too quickly. I cannot believe I'm still getting over 2020, and now 2021 is coming to a close. This is wild.
It's still April 2020 for me, too.
Yes, it is still April. I am waiting for, I'm trying to get my summer body together. That's what I'm doing right now. That's what I'm doing right now. But yeah, I am super excited. Looking forward to 2022. We're going to make some more great Sweet Science Cinema episodes for you. And we'll see you in the new year.
That's what's up. Yeah, tell them about the comic books and all that good stuff, please.
Oh, yeah.
They know, but tell them anyways.
Yeah, npccomics.com. Who knows? By this time, I might be one of the select people of the Milestone Initiative. I submitted to that, so who knows? Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, npccomics.com got some great stuff coming for you next year. You should be getting posts. If you're listening to this after Thanksgiving, there's a deal every day. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that, NPC Comics, because we are trying to sell everything this holiday season. We got a new line of shirts. I think we're going to try to do a new shirt a day for the 25 days of Christmas, like just a new design every single day. So check us out. Check us out.
That sounds fresh as fuck. How much are those shirts going to be?
Probably around $20 to $25.
Sweet.
Still working out the logistics with our fulfillment service. We're not going to print them we'll be printing them, but we're not going to fulfill everything ourselves. Since the holiday season, we're going to have professionals do that. So yeah, $20, $25 range. We'll try to keep them as cheap as we can for everybody, but they make a great stylish gift. So yeah.
Guys, you're already buying jeans with holes in them for $40
yes.
more. So buy a shirt that has no holes in it with your favorite branding on it, and support the artist Jaimel Hemphill, npccomics.com.
That's right.
As for me, check out the microdose. We're doing always something every week, once a week. every Friday. You can find that on the bosnet.family/microdose. Also, Waffle Box. Check out waffleboxpod.com. That's every Wednesday. It's the best part of Wednesdays. Me and friend of the BosNet family, Mike Fish. We talk about everything and nothing all at the same time. And that's not going anywhere anytime soon. So for Jaimel Hemphill, I've been Kush. You've been you. See you next year. Happy New Year. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy New Year. Yeah. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Passover, Hanukkah, everything. Yes. The best of the holidays ever. Yeah.
From the BosNet family.
I'm maybe 7 years old. I'm like, what?